All right, welcome to Fantasy Sports Addicts Anonymous. My name is Tom.
Hi, Tom.
I am a fantasy sports addict.
And my name is Ryan.
Howdy, Ryan.
And I, too, am a fantasy sports addict.
Okay, as we said, we're Fantasy Sports Addicts Anonymous. We're here talking hoops. We're talking about, what the fuck are we talking about?
Mainly what we're focusing on for this particular podcast is how your draft position or where you are in the draft plays such a crucial role on the type of team that you're going to build.
Okay, so we're going to talk about all those things and a little bit more coming up in a minute. But first,
Our Q&A.
A and some Q's.
Q's and A's.
Yes. All right, so we got some questions off of Twitter and our YouTube comments. Ryan, hit me with the first one. Hit me. Hit me. I didn't mean really hit me. Ow.
Oh, man, that would have felt so good.
Yeah.
So good. Give you a black eye.
Yeah, I know. You earned yours.
All right, so this first question comes from XHazyX.
Is that hazy with a 4 instead of an A?
Yeah, but it's hazy. I don't know if the X's are because he's straight edge.
Wouldn't be surprised. Anybody who does X something X is usually pretty straight edge, right?
Unless there's some whiny little emo girl, which
This
according
guy
to this
does
guy's
not.
picture, he looks more straight edge.
Yeah, Hazy, don't beat up Ryan. He did not mean to say you were a little emo girl.
Because I'll be honest, he could probably turn me into a pretzel without a whole lot of effort.
No, but we love these questions from people like XHazyX.
All right, so this question is, I'm in a league where we get to keep 2 players.
Okay.
I have Steph Curry, but beyond
Wow.
him, do I keep Jimmy Butler or Marc Gasol? Also,
Whoa.
how is Butler impacted by Derrick Rose, and can Marc Gasol repeat last year's stellar performance?
Fuck, what does this guy want me to do? Write an essay for him? All right,
Apparently,
first of all, let's start the essay with first of all, because I know that's how the English teachers want kids to start
little
their
did
essays.
he know.
All right, first of all, you only keep 2? I prefer to keep more than 2 players personally. I would like to keep 5, north of 5 if I'm doing a keeper league for basketball, right? Otherwise, what's the point?
That's my take on it. Like, everybody has a great player, cool, but
Not to denigrate this guy's leagues, it sounds like he's in a pretty good league otherwise. He wants to know, should he keep
Jimmy Butler or Marc Gasol?
ahead of, no, with Steph Curry?
Yeah, Steph Curry's is given.
Okay, well, I think, again, this is a two keeper league. Keep the highest ranked player. Keep Jimmy Butler, right? Jimmy Butler's basically another first round pick to go with Steph Curry. That's a pretty sexy combo.
Yeah, I think they pair well with one another.
Gasol's great.
Of course, and to go off on the second part of his question is like, can Marc Gasol repeat last year's stellar performance? I don't see why the hell he couldn't. Like,
Wouldn't you assume he's going to do what he's been doing the last few years?
I mean, Memphis has had continuity for years. It's the same thing. Like, you know what you're going to get from him. You know what you're going to get from damn near any player on that team and what you're going to get out of them.
So the expectations are there. It's kind of actually impressive, to be honest, as a basketball fan. So often you see these teams turn over like after 3 or 4 years based on top player contracts and stuff like that. But Memphis, like, kind of held together for a while. It's pretty impressive. So now as far as Butler, he was asking about Butler's...
how he's impacted by Derrick Rose.
I'm sure Chicago Bulls fans will hate me for this, but I think everything is negatively impacted by Derrick Rose. First of all, major injury risk, okay? And beyond that, now we've got rape allegations. That's just not something I want to mess with on my fantasy roster.
But he doesn't want D Rose. He's just wondering how that affects Butler or impacts him. And I'm saying it doesn't.
No.
Either he gets injured and Butler does what he's been doing,
Or he goes to jail.
or he's healthy and plays great, which only helps Butler out. Like, Butler, he gets a lot of his points and categories that isn't dependent on being ball dominant type of player. So it doesn't matter what or who you have around him. Butler's going to do his thing.
Butler's the star of the show.
Yes.
So he's the what was he taken? And I don't know which year of draft it was. Wasn't he taken like 29th overall in the first round or something? Not our drafts, but
yeah,
like the actual
real NBA.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, Chicago was good when they drafted him, first round pick.
Okay, so he's like the most successful late first round pick ever in that sense. But yeah, he's the star of the show. So forget about what D Rose is doing, hurt, in court, on the court, otherwise. Butler's Butler. Butler's the star of the show.
Keep Curry, keep Butler.
Curry and Butler's such an awesome foundation for a team.
You know, and then if you can redraft Marc Gasol in, the first round or...
Yeah, take him in your first round, second round of your draft.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for the question.
Thanks, and continue following us and asking us questions. Appreciate it. This next question comes from Richard.
Oh, the Dickster.
The Dickster.
Dickster's back.
He is back. This was a question that he actually asked us in one of the mock drafts we were in with him.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I remember this mock draft. It was, it's almost like it was yesterday.
All right. So, Richard, he wants to know, where would we feel confident drafting Kyrie Irving?
Oh! Well, I think he's still overranked and overvalued in ESPN and Yahoo leagues right now. Yahoo, he's what, 9th?
Yeah.
And ESPN, you said he was 14th earlier?
14th, 15th, something like that.
Unless it's a dynasty type league, first year draft, I'm not taking him that early.
No.
I would consider it in a dynasty situation, but for redraft purposes, I'd want to get him at third round. You're not going to get him in the third or fourth round, I don't think, are you?
Not unless the rankings change, because, again, if there's someone who doesn't show up, the auto draft will take them anytime before I'd be even considering taking them. But let's say you do get in a league that's completely full of, people that know what they're doing, everybody's there. I would feel more confident in myself being able to take them, because I feel that I'd be able to navigate and withstand. And again, you're not worrying so much in a head-to-head league about the first couple months. You just want them to be there come playoffs.
Right, May, June.
Yeah.
Mostly May. So that being said, you want him. You can manage around the injury. Where are you comfortable taking him? Second pick?
No, I'd still say outside of the top 25, but...
Okay, so third, fourth round still?
Probably third round.
All right, I think that was the consensus from pretty much everybody in the mock draft the other night, too.
Yeah, third round seems about right.
But don't worry about it, because you're probably not going to get him that late anyways until something changes, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so don't draft Kyrie Irving, I think is what we're saying, unless you can navigate turbulent waters.
Cool. All right, our last question.
Okay.
This comes from Moon the Pegasus.
Wait, what?
Moon the Pegasus.
Moon. Moon.
Yes.
Like
like the moon. Who owns the moon?
Who owns the moon? Like Kids in the Hall? Moon's over my hammy, like Denny's?
Whatever. Moon. The Pegasus.
Moon. The Pegasus.
You can't make these names up.
What's his profile picture? Like a rainbow and a unicorn or what?
You know it. I don't know. It's some kid's show.
Oh, the pig. Peppa Pig. Okay. Yeah. All right. Peppa Pig. All right. So from the Peppa Pig fan.
And then again, this was off of our YouTube comments. And he's asking us, do I add Tyler Zeller if he lasts in drafts? He says he's in a good offense and has minutes and good percentages.
All right, first of all, no.
Just no.
Can we just say no, like unequivocally? Just we both agree no, don't even fucking waste your time with Tyler Zeller? Is that an agreement?
Sure. Yeah.
And here's the reason why. Boston's front court is so crowded. There's, 6 players to go around for 2 positions? We got Jay Crowder, Jared Solinger, Kelly Olynyk, David Lee, Amir Johnson. Who am I leaving out? Tyler Zeller.
Yeah.
So that's 6 players for like a power forward and a center position, essentially.
I mean, Crowder will play some small forward.
Right, there is flexibility there, but...
Still, I don't see him getting more than 20 minutes a year, which is what he got last year. And to see that go up when they've added more players,
it's not going to happen. And I had Tyler Zeller last year. He was like the guy's right. His percentages were great. Okay, the field goal, the free throw percentages were both great when he was playing. And I had him. It was so frustrating because it'd be like one night he's starting, the next night he doesn't play, and Olenek's playing, or vice versa. And there's just, again, it's already even more confused than it was last year.
And I just think with David Lee, I think he's a Danny Ainge type player, and the Boston fans really would like him there. So I can see him still at least not getting lion's share of minutes, but 15, 20 minutes.
All right, so the bottom line with the Celtics front court, I think realistically, don't touch it. But somebody at some point is eventually going to carve out probably a more meaningful role. But you don't want to be the guy that's waiting to figure that out. You don't want to be holding the bag on two or three players.
So really, I'd say add Zeller to your watch list, see what happens. You know, if David Lee's just getting benched and not playing, if there's an injury, and he does come to the cream of the crop of the Boston front court, then yeah, you can go ahead and add him. But as far as drafting going, no need.
No, I think in most standard leagues, he's not even owned. I mean, if you're in a deeper league, 20-man league, something with really deep benches, all right, you know, take a flyer on him, wait and see what happens if you got the room to be patient. But otherwise, just let him go.
All right.
Those were good questions.
Very good questions. Keep them coming, and
Thanks, everybody.
We'll continue to include them in our podcast.
I feel good. Those were some of the better questions we've had in a while.
We're getting better, and we're getting more of them, and it's great.
I will say this. I'm a bit disappointed we haven't heard from our buddy Alf in a while.
Well, he has made a couple of forum posts on our website.
But none of them were podcast worthy, I guess.
We can't give, Big Al questions every week.
All right. Well, again, thank you for some of these newest comments and questions. Again, always check us out on Twitter at letter F, letter S, the word double, letter A, at FSAA. Email us on the website, info@fantasysportsaddicts.com. YouTube, leave a comment. Why not? Whatever.
All right, so let's get into the meat of the podcast, what we're here today talking about, and that's draft strategy.
All right, as we said at the top of the show, your draft position basically determines the tone for the rest of your draft. Where you're picking in that first round will have a great deal of impact on what you can do and what you will do as the draft progresses, right?
Absolutely. At least it should. If you know what you're doing and you're trying to build a championship contending team,
right?
It will. It has a huge impact.
Okay. Now, I'm never really quite ready to commit to my teams until third, fourth round myself, because I feel like there's still some flexibility. But generally, those 1, 2, 3, those first 3 picks, that's when you're definitely now you kind of have a direction. If you're just taking the best player available, you might kind of have this mishmash of players.
But that's its own direction.
In some regards, sometimes. But generally, I like to have a battle plan, right? So if you're picking at the beginning of the draft or you're picking at the end of the draft, you're going to have a totally different type of player to choose from, especially when it comes back to that second round pick, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's say you have third pick and you take James Harden.
Okay.
With the wraparound, the last thing you want to do is take a DeAndre Jordan or Hassan Whiteside, one of these awful free throw shooter teams, and just totally negate one of James Harden's strengths.
Right. The guy that shoots 90% from the free throw line, you're going to bring in a guy that shoots 35%. Don't do it. What are you doing? How many times have you been in a league or been in a draft and you just see manager after manager stacking players that don't fit together, and you're like, oh, what are you doing? You took a player I wanted, but it wasn't even so much that. You took a player that I wanted, but doesn't even fit your team. That's frustrating when you see guys with no clue.
The mock draft that we just did, the same instance happened where dude took Noel. It's it just did not fit his team. He needed the blocks and the rebounds, but...
What was it that he had? He had John Wall, Klay Thompson, and then some other roto-type style player, a lot of volume scoring. And then he takes Nerlens Noel with his third or fourth pick or whatever. Why?
just makes no sense.
Why? You just absolutely destroyed a strength, which was your free throw shooting, and I don't know.
So for this example, again, going back to the mock draft that we were in and that we did, I ended up with second pick. Tom, you had the sixth pick.
I did. I had sixth pick. It was exciting.
So with my second pick in mock, real draft, dynasty, whatever, like, I'm happy taking Curry. He's great.
You're not afraid of the ankles from a few years ago? You're not still... that's not in your mind somewhere still?
Not at this point. It's cleared my concerns.
It's always in the back of my mind somewhere still.
I know you got burned by him. I didn't, but whatever. So I took Steph Curry, and with having Steph Curry, again, I wanted scorers. I wanted threes.
Play to your strengths.
Play to my strengths. So like my 5 picks I had for my Steph Curry team was Curry, Kevin Love, Kyle Lowry, Chris Bosh, and Brandon Knight.
Okay, they all sort of fit that theme.
All, good free throw percentages, just percentages in general, 3-pointers.
And you got rebounds with Love. I like that. There's no blocks in that group. That's so unlike you.
It is, but at the same time, that's just the team I built. Like, normally, I don't get Steph Curry. I haven't had second pick yet, and so this isn't normally the type of team that I would build, but...
It's the team you built given your situation in the draft, right?
Exactly.
Okay, now I so infrequently get a player like LeBron James, and I happen to get LeBron James in this mock draft we did.
At the 6th pick.
Why in God's name did LeBron James fall all the way to 6th pick? I don't know. I was ready to take DeMarcus Cousins, my buddy Boogie. Boogie. I love Boogie. I would reach for Boogie probably anywhere. I don't know. I'm crazy like that. I love Boogie. But 6th pick, I was ready to take Boogie. Somehow, some way, LeBron James fell. I took my LeBron James and I thought, well, now I'm doing a Ryan team. I'm punting free throw percentage. I'm just going to stack some steals and some blocks and some rebounds.
But even before you went that strategy, like, I love your combo pair that you managed to get with LeBron, who I'm surprised that he makes it this far back around into the 2nd round.
This is a guy I would take 1st round easily. Like, if I'm later end of the 1st round, don't be hesitant to reach for Paul George. Don't forget, he was a top 5 player just as recently as the beginning of last year. Yeah, that injury was nasty. It was a gruesome series of injuries. I don't think this is career altering. It took some time to recover. He played a little teeny scotch last year. Not enough to give us a good taste, but let's write it off. Let's not worry about it. Let's just assume he's going to return to his former value. I'm confident taking Paul George at the end of the 1st round, and absolutely all day, anywhere in the 2nd round of your draft. If you're anywhere in the 2nd round draft, I don't care who you took in the 1st round, you can take Paul George. Paul George pairs nicely with everyone. He's like that awesome dessert wine.
I mean, again, if Paul George was there for me, I would have taken him.
That'd be huge. I mean, if Paul George falls that far, and he might in some leagues, like ESPN
Congratulations.
leagues. Yeah, I don't think he'll fall that far in ESPN leagues. Yahoo leagues, he might. Don't let him go by you, though. Just count on the upside. Count on the guy that used to be a top 5 player as recently as last year. So that's
I love the LeBron PG-13 combo. It's
absurd. It's absurd. I mean, there's so much flexibility there. I can go a lot of different ways. I chose to go, again, punting. I tried to play the punting strategy because it's not something I'm intimately familiar with. It's not something I do a lot. But I ended up doing Drummond and Howard. And I reached for Howard in the 4th round. But there are other people in this league trying to pull the same strategy. Now, we mentioned the guy who reached for Noel. And there was a guy who reached for DeAndre Jordan as well. There are situations where people are trying to do the same strategy you're doing in a draft, and they're probably not as committed as you are. This was a situation where I had to fully commit. I didn't want to take Dwight Howard in the 4th round, believe me, especially knowing you can get him a little bit later. But given my style of team and the risk that I might not have gotten him later, I had to take him.
Because you get rid of the poor free throw shooting, and Dwight Howard's numbers and rankings are a hell of a lot better.
It's a perfect head-to-head player. I wouldn't touch him in Roto, but I'd love him all day in head-to-head. Now, I was able to get Elfrid Payton, perfect point guard for a free throw punting team. And then Wiggins. Really, to me, LeBron, George, and Wiggins, what a sick set of three-player. Woo! All right, so enough waxing on about a fake team that's faker than fake because it's a mock team.
It's a mock draft. It's gone. It's poof. It's done.
But it was fun. And so the whole idea of these mock drafts is you get a taste for where you're picking different spots in the draft.
That's why I say do the mock drafts, but do it in different spots in the draft. And then just try to pair up players that are like-minded players.
Similar stats. Similar.
You got that, 12th round pick. If you can manage to get Lillard and Klay Thompson paired up there.
Okay, so you're talking about 12th pick, the wrap pick, and a standard 12-man head-to-head league. Okay.
Yeah.
Lillard and Klay, that's your favorite. That's your killer combo.
Oh yeah, for the end picks.
All right, yeah. I mean, all right, I love it too. That's some hot maple syrup. All right, go do some mock drafts. When you do your regular drafts, do pay attention to the settings. Do pay attention to your league, stats, all that sort of thing, and have an agenda. Have an idea. Like, okay, I'm picking later in the draft. I'm picking earlier in the draft. These are the guys I'm looking at. These are the guys I might get in my next pick. Then set your queue accordingly. Build a plan. Have a foundation. So build this sort of blueprint for what type of team you want.
Exactly. And one thing that you can do is watch our other videos that we have on our YouTube channel. We are putting out a 4 or 5 part series talking about different draft strategies more in depth and breaking those down.
Right. Again, check out the YouTube channel. YouTube channel is where it's happening right now. We're blowing up all over YouTube, so feel free to,
join in on the fun.
I don't really even know our YouTube address. We don't have a nice, cozy address.
Just search for Fantasy Sports Addicts Anonymous on YouTube, and
you'll find us.
We're easy to find.
You're probably already checking this out on YouTube anyways.
Yeah.
And thank you for your YouTube support, by the way.
Thank you.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe.
All right, Tom. So we kind of talked a little bit about this, and I think if people have been following along...
Wait. Real quick. Can we just back up for a second? All right. Ryan's doing rewinding noises. We did mention that there's a 4 or 5 part series of videos on YouTube. We're slowly releasing them. Let's give everybody an idea of what these videos are. It's a 4 or 5 part draft strategy series. We're going to give you a draft strategy for beginners, if this is your first time or if you're relatively new to fantasy basketball. We're going to give you punting draft strategy, in which Ryan illustrates how to punt specific categories. I'm going to give you a rotisserie style strategy, so you can build a well-rounded team and compete in every category. We're also going to talk about dynasty draft strategy or keeper league draft strategy. And eventually, we're not there yet. We haven't done this one because we're still trying to auction our way through it. We're going to do an auction draft strategy. Auction drafts they take forever. We're still doing one, actually. So when we're finished with it, that'll be part 5 of the video series. Beginners, punting, rotisserie style, keeper dynasties, and auction drafts. We're going to have a draft strategy video on YouTube for all of those.
So whichever one you're doing, check them out. Check them all out. Please, thank you.
All right, so back to what you were saying, Ryan.
All right, so our listeners, I'm sure if they've followed along by now, they know what type of teams that we generally prefer to build.
Do they?
Well, but if they don't, what's your favorite strategy or team to build?
I love Roto, and I love hype. So, I mean, beyond hype and rotisserie hype, I like to build well-rounded teams. I am susceptible to the hype, so as much as I try to stay well-rounded and build a rotisserie-style team, I do take rookies and sophomores and hyped players, and I kind of sometimes screw up my roto strategies doing that. Not that I recommend it, but that's just me. So generally, I prefer a roto-style, rotisserie. Is that adequate?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It does. Again, it's just funny Roto, well-rounded, and then you have 4 rookies on your team.
Hype. Yeah, all right. So, but I do research my rookies to see if they're going to fit. Now, rookies, even if you research them, they're still a crapshoot.
Well,
That's why you got the waiver wire.
Yeah. Again, it's just Tom can't help himself.
I can't. I'm sick. I'm a sick man. That's why I'm here at Fantasy Sports Addicts Anonymous, getting the help I need. All right, Ryan, why don't you, looks like you're running out of refreshment there. Why don't you open another one, and I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite type of strategy, even though I know it? Ryan, you like punting strategies, don't you?
I love punting strategies.
Why is that?
Mainly, again, the punt free throw strategy is the most common. Most people know that.
Yeah.
Personally, I love it just because I grew up and idolizing the bad boys, and Dennis Rodman was my favorite player. And I just love those big defensive guys. And so, to me, those are the players I want on my fantasy team.
All right, you like your bigs big, and then bigger even still.
That, and I like even my guards and my small forwards to do the dirty work and get a bunch of steals and rebounds and just being able to do it. And like what you do is you just take 5 categories that you want.
Okay.
And you get nothing but players that help you out in those 5 categories.
They slam those 5
categories. And you don't care about the other 4. So you're not necessarily punting or avoiding those 4, you just don't care about them. Like you're focusing on whatever 5 stats that you choose.
Okay.
So that's generally what I want to do. Like my bench almost consists entirely of specialists.
Okay. Now that's not much of a bench, but it's effective for you. You got that guy that's like, oh, I'm coming off the bench for X team and I hit a few 3-pointers and that's enough for Ryan. That gets Ryan an extra 3 or 4 threes a week, and woo! Like, Ryan won 3s.
Again, you're not going to be top seed in the playoffs with the punting strategy.
No, but with a punting strategy, you could back it in 5-4, 6-5 type of thing.
Yep. And again, this is not advisable for rotisserie leagues.
No, you never punt in rotisserie. Let's just clarify that. Don't ever punt in rotisserie. I know some people think you can. I've never seen it done effectively. One time I accidentally drafted a head-to-head team for Roto, and I was so proud of myself. I thought, oh man, this team's going to be just like the fucking tits and dicks. And no, it was just dicks. No tits.
So that's another reminder to pay attention to what type of league you sign up for.
Always fucking read the information when you're signing up, okay? Don't sign up for something you don't know what you're doing.
Ooh, I want to draft, yeah! Ooh, I'm in,
oh my
I'm
God.
drafting!
I just really need to draft. Oh my God, it's a draft. Ah, it's a draft! Oh! Woo, I'm drafting! Oh wait, ooh.
Damn it, I reached for Dwight Howard in a Roto league.
Oh, why did I take Dwight Howard 4th pick in a rotisserie league? Oops.
All right, so anyways, that's the type of our favorite strategy.
I didn't get to tell you why I like Roto, though.
Okay, why do you like Roto?
It's flexible, man. It's like you're dating one of those, 4'10" gymnasts, a spinner. You got a spinner team. She's flexible. She can do anything you want. She can beat teams like yours, or she can beat teams built another way. She's flexible. That's what I love. My Roto teams are like that 4'10" spinner gymnast you always wish you dated.
Okay.
What's wrong with that analogy? Don't give me that look. I'll give you another black eye.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Don't hit me again.
It's all right. Wilmer Flores is bound to bat soon. All right. I want to ask you, Ryan, we've done a few drafts now, and we've probably kind of maybe put a few eggs in the same basket once or twice now. Is there any player that you will take in all leagues, that you're willing to put all your eggs into that basket? Or maybe players. Is there 1, 2, 3 players that you're willing to draft in every league, every format, no matter what? This is the guy you want. Gotta have.
Again, it's harder to say that with earlier players just because you don't have as much option to get them unless you're really able to reach. So kind of deeper. I actually think every draft I've been in right now, there is one player that I do have.
Okay.
and that's Roy Hibbert.
You love your Roy Hibbert. You're still on the Roy Hibbert wagon.
Anywhere, pick 90, pick 100. Yeah, I'm going for Hibbert. I think he's due for a bounce back year, and even if he just does what he's been doing,
good value.
I'll take that all day. It's just, again, he usually fits my teams.
Okay, Hibbert. Anybody else?
I've been going real hard for Miles Turner so far this year.
We both love Miles Turner. That's a guy we recommend everybody just, I don't know, take him, 10th pick later? 10th plus? There are some leagues where somebody's going to surprise you and take him earlier than you expect.
After 100, there's a couple guys in there I'd probably still take before him. So.
Okay, so after Hibbert's gone, after Randall's gone, that's probably about when you'd take Miles Turner.
Yeah. I mean, Reggie Jackson's another guy I want hard, but I see him going a lot earlier. Like, people are reaching for him, like, a couple of rounds.
Well, now, in Yahoo leagues, he's ranked in the hundreds. For ESPN, he's ranked, 40th or something?
Top 50, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a major discrepancy there. Is he a guy you feel comfortable reaching for? Is he a guy you've owned, or no? Is he just a name you threw out?
No, I do, and I've gotten him in a couple of drafts already this year.
Okay, so be willing to reach for Reggie Jackson, be willing to reach for Miles Turner when the time comes, and make sure you're there for Roy Hibbert is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Again, I've kind of said this before too, but C.J. McCollum.
Smart pick, C.J. McCollum. I like him. That's a smart
move. All right,
move.
so for you.
Yeah, Obviously, I have advocated the shit out of Paul George, and I'm going to continue to do so. Paul George, all right, if you're picking after the 5th pick in the 1st round, and there's nobody else you really like, why the fuck not? Go ahead, take Paul George.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
I know it might seem like a bit of a reach in some leagues, and some, like ESPN, I think he's ranked 9th or something overall, not as deep as he is in Yahoo, but any pick after 5th pick, if you don't know who you like or you don't know who you want, Paul George. I like Paul George. And if you can get him in the 2nd round, anywhere in the 2nd round, Paul George.
See, I think for that purpose, I wouldn't take him. Like, if I could get a Boogie and a George on that back round or something like that.
Well, that'd be the ideal. Yeah, I'm not going to take him maybe over Boogie, but that's why I was saying, if there's nobody else you like. I love Boogie, and I would have taken Boogie in our mock draft had LeBron not been there.
Yeah.
Outside of PG-13, Paul George, the other guy that I'm just kind of going crazy for, mostly because I love hype and rookies, I've been going nuts for Andrew Wiggins again. I reached to get him as a rookie last year, pretty much every league. I'm doing the same now as a sophomore. It's ironic. I think he's actually ranked later, higher in the queue this year than he was last year, and he did pretty goddamn well towards the end. I mean,
and if you look what he's done in Euroball, and
so Andrew Wiggins is a guy I'm willing to reach for.
Summer League.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so but again, Andrew Wiggins is a guy I'm willing to reach for.
I actually like in those 2 rounds if you can get a Wiggins and a Parker.
Double down on him. Why not?
Yeah.
Now the only thing in Yahoo leagues, I don't know how it is in ESPN at this point. But for Yahoo leagues, right around the time you're considering taking Wiggins and Parker, you've also got to make the decision if you're the hype guy like I am. Do I take Karl Anthony Towns? Do I take Jahlil Okafor? So these are questions I like to weigh out. I have to weigh out because these are 4 players, again, and then I got the other guys I want. If you can come away with, for me, the 2 of those 4 that I want Towns, and I want Wiggins. And I love Parker. Okay. And I love Okafor, but the 2 I gotta have the upside and the well-rounded game of Wiggins and the athleticism and the two-way kind of game.
See, Okafor fits more my style of team and not so much yours.
The punting, which is why I ended up taking him in the punting draft later on. Yeah, I did end up taking Okafor later in that draft, but Towns supposed to be a pretty well-rounded guy. Wiggins, he doesn't hurt you in a roto-style team. I mean, his percentages aren't through the roof, but you're willing to weather some of that if you're into hype the way I am. So
yeah. Okay, good.
Those are Wiggins and Paul George. I don't know. I guess Wiggins, Paul George, and Miles Turner. I mean, we both love our Miles Turner. So I don't know if we can say enough about Miles Turner. I hope we're not wrong. If we've hyped the shit out of Miles Turner for months on end now, and we're way wrong on the guy, and it's Jordan Hill or something. Is that who's?
Yeah, but I don't see he's gonna get minutes, and just by default, he's gonna do something for
He's
you.
another one of those guys you hear his
And
interviews.
you get him late enough where, like,
It doesn't
if you
hurt.
have to drop him, it's not the end of the world.
I like his attitude. He just seems like, and again, the doubts about him. Oh, well, he can't run right. His gait. His gait? What the fuck? Like, his gait? I'm supposed to pay. As somebody who plays fantasy sports, have you ever heard a reason not to draft somebody? His gait. G-A-I-T, not like his fence, but his gait, how he runs, how he happens to, like, physically. Does that matter if he can either dunk the ball or block a shot? As long as he can rebound and block shots, that's all I'm asking out of a 7-footer. And he seems more than capable of doing that. So
Okay, so real quick, who's a couple players that you're avoiding like the plague?
like the plague.
Who is not going to be on your roster regardless this year?
All right, number one plague player, without a doubt, always, Carmelo Anthony. Although I'll take him if he, I won't say that. No, all right. So
I thought you were going to say Brook Lopez.
Well, he's the next one. He's number 2, but he's actually number 1. Brook Lopez should be at the fucking top of everyone's list. He should be headline, a number 1 guy you never fucking draft in any format ever. Never. Can we repeat this? Can we stress this enough?
Do not draft Brook Lopez.
If you draft Brook Lopez, don't even try to trade him. Just drop him. Say you did an auto draft, something like that, and shit got fucked and you didn't make the draft, and you have Brook Lopez, drop him. That roster space, that flexible roster spot is more valuable to you than the few games you will actually get out of Brook Lopez, I promise.
If someone does drop him, that auto draft him crazy, don't pick
touch
him up. Let
Don't-
him be there.
Let him go to somebody else who wants to sink their team. Okay, so Brook Lopez is the A1 player you never touch in any league, in any format ever. I'm sorry. I would take, if you're thinking about taking Brook Lopez, slap your own hand and draft Robin Lopez instead. Yes, you'll be reaching, but at least you'll have a guy that'll make it through the season and actually contribute something to your team meaningful.
And don't take him there either.
No, you can take him later. But no Brook Lopez under any circumstances. Other than that, I don't really like Carmelo. And other than that, I'm trying to think who else I really don't like. D. Wade.
Okay.
I'm not touching D. Wade. I'm probably not touching Kobe, but not for any political reasons or FU kind of reasons. I mean, Kobe's just kind of...
Kobe has fallen enough down, where he's not going to cost you too much. If you can get him in the 8th, 9th round, I think he's actually worth taking a flyer on if you have a James Harden type team where you're going for those high volume scorers. You don't care about your field goal percentage.
If he gets getting late,
he's worth it.
If he falls late enough.
Yeah, same thing with Melo. I hate Melo personally.
But if he falls.
I haven't been in a draft where he will fall far enough for me to take him.
Okay.
There has been some dynasty leagues where there's been talks of trade for him, and I've considered it, so I'm not completely anti-Melo, but I just think he gets drafted before where I want.
Where you want him.
For me, the one player who is absolutely 100% not going to be on any of my teams this year.
Dragic?
No.
Who else?
Kevin Durant.
You're not touching Durant?
No, I'm not. Just because I don't want that risk for my first round pick.
All right, I don't see it as much of a risk.
I know I've been reading up on the medical reports and all that, but foot injuries just scare the bejesus out of me.
Yeah, but he's not Brook Lopez. It's not like it's like Yao Ming or Brook Lopez thundering around out there.
He's had 3 foot surgeries in a year.
All right, unless the foot's made out of glass and suddenly he's unbreakable or whatever it is, that movie. But
3 foot surgeries.
All right,
with the top 5 pick, top 5, 6 pick. To me, I would. My floor for the first round is so important. And losing that first round player, it's hard to win.
Okay.
Trust me, I know. He burned me in my $100 league last year.
We've all done it. I'm still not that ready to write off Kevin Durant, but then again, I'm the guy that's advocating pissing all over yourself to get Paul George. So, what do I know? I guess I don't know. One other player I think I really don't like that I don't want, just personally, is Kevin Love. I don't like Kevin Love.
We disagree on this.
I mean, if you got the right kind of team for Kevin Love, he's just, I don't know.
I like bigs that can shoot threes and rebound for a particular type of team that we talked about earlier, like the Steph Curry team I built in the mock draft. I like pairing him with Love.
Okay. No, and again, they all fit. Like, again, it's picking a theme to your teams, and they match well. They fit together well. That was a brilliant draft strategy on your end.
I mean, that's kind of the whole point of this podcast.
I just don't like him. I don't know. I just don't want to. I don't want to get caught in the cookie jar again. I don't know. I think Love. You know what? Again, this goes back to our 12 steps. Being unwilling to be burned by the players we've been burned by in the past. I think. I don't know, Curry and Love, just, I'm scared. It's like one time I had them and they screwed me and I got sad and scared.
Again, you need some flexibility, but that's also why Kevin Durant is on my list this year. Like, I still think he's the best player in the NBA, and this is only a temporary not drafting him. Like, if he makes it through this year, fine. Next year, I'm all over him.
Well, he'll disagree with you about best player in the NBA. He actually thinks he's the best player in the world.
Obviously.
Okay.
NBA is... Come on.
All right. Well, don't anybody go out there and draft the best player in the world, apparently. That's what Ryan's advice is.
Not this year.
Not this year. Take Westbrook instead? Is that your advice or what? Paul George? Reach for Paul George.
LeBron James, Boogie.
Yeah,
Chris
reaching for
Paul.
Boogie. I'd hate for this to boil down to fisticuffs again, so let's just close with the Fantasy Sports Serenity Prayer. I'll lead it.
Okay, Tom, go for it.
Fantasy gods, woo! Please grant me the serenity to set my ideal lineup, the courage to add drop aggressively, and the wisdom,
as always,
to make good trades.
Amen.
Amen. So, check out our website, fantasysportsaddicts.com. Hit us up on Twitter at letter F, letter S, the word double, letter A, at FSAA. Please subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Stitcher. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're checking this out on YouTube.
Give us a thumbs up.
Thumbs up, rate, comment. Send us nude pictures of your wife or girlfriend, all that stuff. That's how the internet works. We want to be a part of it, all of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, nudie pictures of your wife. And fantasy sports. All right, thanks for listening. We have derailed.
Ow!